All right, guys. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and get started. I'm Mascot. I'll be hosting the AMA. I'll be helping these guys. I'll be facilitating your guys' questions so that they can focus all their time and energy on being able to answer and just give you guys the most clear and succinct look into all of the offerings that they have over their project DegenFi. We will post a link to their Discord if you guys don't have one already in the general chat after the AMA. With that being said, why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves and a little bit about what you do, maybe what continent you're from. Go ahead. We'll start with Mr. Degen.
Yeah, hey guys, thanks for hosting this for us. We're excited to be here. I am Mr. Degen, part of the team. I work on specifically pretty much the documents, helping out with the community stuff, things like that.
All right. Gen developer, your name kind of speaks for itself, but if you want to just give us a quick little 20-second resume breakdown. Your mic working? All right, we'll move on to Newport Lights.
Yeah, I'll jump in. I'm Newport Lights. I'm from North America, like the three of us here. You'll see me doing the socials, hanging out on Discord, the chief meme officer. So, I'm the hype guy. So, reaching out to people, trying to make connections. That's how we got in with you guys here at Node Nation. So, we're excited to be here.
Beautiful. Degen developer, is your mic working now? I'm going to take that as a hard no. If you're on mobile, this happens to me sometimes. Sometimes you got to restart the whole application if he's on mobile, at least on iOS. Happened to me the other day.
You guys want to ask some questions? We can maybe, avoid some dev stuff right now, but just some basic questions we can certainly answer.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and post the link, guys, in general chat to the AMA questions. Go ahead and post your questions in there, or feel free to raise your hand and we'll bring you up and we'll start getting these questions in. Wow, Punished Sperm is coming in hot with a lot of questions. So number one, given the latest string of rugs and such, do you intend to take further measures beyond KYC to bring confidence to your future investors? He sees that you guys have multi-sig implemented, but do you have the team internally docs to each other? As in, obviously, you guys know first name, last name, where you're from, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we know each other that specifically, but we are doxed a little bit to each other. I think for us, especially being in the US, it's important to maintain a little bit of privacy, especially DeFi is kind of new. We don't know, will there be changes coming from the government at some point? I think everyone can kind of understand that it's important for us to maintain a little bit of privacy at that point. But yeah, we've tried to implement measures. We've done the KYC. We created the multi-sig, which we should be able to send out in our Discord shortly. I actually did that earlier today. So hopefully those are enough. Doing an AMA, we want to let you guys hear from us, hear our answers. Hopefully that, helps instill a little confidence.
Gotcha. Good quality answer. Thank you. Hey, we hear you, Degen developer. What's going on, man?
All right, sorry about that, guys. I guess my technical skills with Discord are not going to inspire a lot of confidence here.
Hey, Discord is a tricky thing, man. It's buggy. Don't hold yourself too weighty on it.
My kids are much better with it than I am.
Well, hey, that's what counts.
Yeah. So anyway, yes, I am the lead developer of the team. I'm from the East Coast of the U.S. I've been in IT for just about over 20 years, mostly in like infrastructure, and I've been doing cloud for the last 8 years and all kinds of stuff. But always had a love for development and got into crypto last year and then DeFi shortly after. And then once I learned Solidity, it was all downhill from there for me. So
beautiful.
Having a good time, and I love just keeping up with with everything that's going on.
Excellent. I love it. So we have a question from earlier that was some people wrote up questions in advance for you guys, which is awesome. Bino asks, what is the rationale behind limiting the number of diamond nodes? Power Nodes has a similar payout percentage, but no limit per wallet.
I think this is, and correct me if I'm wrong, everybody else on the team, because there's been a lot of activity lately. I feel like a lot of the limits that we have in place, you'll get this answer a lot, is that we're not sure, so we're being a little cautious. That things are moving very quickly in this space, and in nodes especially, right? And there's a lot of the nodes are evolving, right? There's new features. There's some things are working, some things are not. So we don't want to put ourselves in a situation where, say somebody, not that they're going to do this, but if somebody buys, 10,000 diamond nodes and eats up all the tokens that we have in one day, like, what are we going to do? I don't know. So we keep the limit low, and we just try to make sure that, not only do we protect the tokenomics of the system, but we have in mind to protect from whales. So it's something that we want to keep an eye on. We want to be a little cautious again, and if we notice that it's not causing a problem and people want to own more nodes, then we can tweak those settings in the future. But we want to make sure that launch goes smoothly. So that's the inspiration behind a lot of the initial numbers that we put in place, I would say.
I think that's a very
and I think just to piggyback on that a little bit is it'll help us kind of sustain our emissions early on. I think a lot of protocols go with really high emissions super early and it gets out of hand really quickly. It's important for us to make sure we have a sustainable system in place.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'm a big fan of coming from a professional health background. I'm a big fan of erring on the side of caution, because that's what happens on the administrative end where I work all the time. So, it's always nice to what's that phrase? Under promise and over deliver, right? So I totally totally support that kind of take on things. Blue Sugar asks, what is the plan for maintenance fees in case the fees become disproportionate to the rewards earned on a monthly basis? It's a good question.
I think we can always look at it and reevaluate. I wouldn't say we're afraid of changing that if we come across a problem, but I think what we came up with early is fair for now. We'll kind of see how it goes.
It'll be in our interest too to keep it fair and whatever. If the token price changes dramatically, we'd have to keep up, right? Or nobody's going to pay that maintenance fee if it's too high relative to the price of the token. So we totally get that.
Yeah, makes sense. Skimming through these questions here.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, he's alive.
Yeah. She asked what was the sell limit per wallet, if there was a sell limit.
Yeah, you can sell 100 degen a day. We set a limit so far.
Got it.
Gotcha. So Punish Sperm's second question is, having taken a look at your tokenomics, it reminds me of Thor's node system in a way that there is a higher tier node that generates a ton of rewards, but also comes at a high cost. Let's say there's a situation where the price falls a bit lower than expected, and there are many investors holding the max amount of diamond nodes. Do you feel that your tokenomics is sufficient enough to combat this kind of issue, as far as people receiving massive reward yields and then price getting tanked, having paid so much for those?
Yeah, I think so. We have a few measures in place that I think will help our tokenomics. I think the biggest thing is that we have a really large reward pool, and having a large reward pool, we can try and keep it more sustainable for longer. But some of the measures we have is we have a max sell limit every 24 hours to kind of prevent these people who, let's say you have a max amount of diamond nodes, are selling the max every day. We have a sell tax. That part of that it goes back into the reward pool. things like that. We've taken a few measures to try and prevent that. It's not going to always be possible if everyone buys, max amount of diamond nodes, but we do have some measures in place to kind of make that, hopefully less of a concern.
Yeah, that is a good point relative to a lot of the other protocols we've seen. We definitely boosted the percentage of, the protocol fees that go into that reward pool to keep it sustainable.
Gotcha. Makes sense to me. Hey, it's Serg asks, what happens after the 1 million cap?
I don't know. Did someone announce that we have a 1 million cap? I don't remember us saying that.
I didn't see anything about that in the Medium articles, so
No,
that was not announced.
I think they might be getting confused with the 1 million cap on tokens. So for those of you that aren't familiar, DegenFi will have, correct me if I'm wrong, I try to do my research before hosting these, is that you guys have a 1 million token circulation and there is no new mints, right? It is not an inflationary token. So there's 1 million and that's all there is. Is there a higher supply and then you burn to get to 1 million, similar to how Thor and Power Nodes did? Or is it truly there's only 1 million minted and that's it?
I'm not familiar with how they minted and why they burned some of the supply, but what we've got right now is just a straight minting of 1 million tokens. But now that you've said that, I'm going to take another look at their contracts and see what happened.
Okay. So Saint asks, how many people are on your team and are you all based in North America? It's a good question, Saint.
we have 13 on the team. We have, just guessing, I want to say it's around 7 probably that are in North America. We do have a couple in Asia and then a couple in Europe. So we're a pretty diverse team. I think we cover a lot of ground too, which is nice. But yeah, that's kind of what makes up us.
Gotcha. So
Answer questions on multiple time zones and be available that way too.
Oh yeah, that's the wise way to
That's
do it.
crucial.
So piggybacking my own question off of that, is there a particular founding group of these 13? Is it just one individual, or who's really? Because with 13 people, from my experience, it's hard to have 13 equal partners. Somebody probably has to kind of guide the ship, so to speak. So who's the so to speak leader or founder or the head of the team at DegenFi?
I'm gonna say we'll say it's our developer. He's definitely the most critical piece of our team. What's nice is we have a lot of people that do a lot of different things, and everyone contributes kind of in their own way. But yeah, I would say him. We have a really great web guy that those guys probably bring us along more than we would like,
I think you seem to look into every project and know a little bit about everything, and can bring ideas to the table. So just everyone's working together, and it is a big group, but it's a good collaboration, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it came together pretty naturally. It wasn't like intentionally formed, like, oh, we need a couple of guys in Asia, we need a couple of guys in Europe. It was just a group that started talking about projects and then realized that we had the skills to do them.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Great.
Like
So NJ asks, can you break down the KYC by Aurora swap and what protections does that offer the casual investor?
Well, okay. So the first part was to answer some questions around that. And I know it's been discussed a few times, but I'll just summarize it again. Initially, we were going to launch on the Aurora chain, which is a newer, Ethereum compatible chain that had 0 gas fees at the time. We had everything prepared at the last minute, literally, or maybe even after the last minute. We decided that we needed to switch chains. We were not getting the engagement that we thought. Combination of that and the market kind of turning down at the same time. So anyway, while we were on the plan to launch on Aurora, we did KYC with Aurora Swap, which was one of the largest dexes at the time. And they had a free KYC program basically where I sent them a video of myself holding an ID and I said, here's my name. And that guy still got it. So as far as protection goes, I suppose if there were a rug of the project, then someone could get in touch with that guy and he's got my contact information.
Gotcha.
That said, I won't say that's, KYC is not the savior of your funds in all situations, right? So you still got to protect yourself. I heard there was a project just the other day. What was it, Adam, that rugged, and they had KYC by Assure. So it's it's important, but it's not.
Yeah, there was a.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, there was a few of them that did. So I mean, KYC nowadays, it's an added layer, but it's like definitely not something that you can depend on. So
yeah, it's lost a bit of its potency.
Right. So yeah, we try to protect, use technology to protect ourselves where we can with multi-sig. Again, of course, there's nothing is 100%, but yeah, we believe in transparency and we don't believe in rugging. So we'll do whatever we can to help reinforce that and protect our holders, whenever we can.
Awesome.
Gotcha. So if you could really pick like the defining portions of what makes you guys confident in your tokenomic design, what would it be? And do you have like a mathematical or tokenomic expert or team that has run a couple different scenarios to kind of back test the tokenomic model?
Yo, we got Node Nation behind us.
Good answer.
Right. Yeah. Definitely throwing against the public helps bring out a lot of questions that refine.
That's the only KYC you need.
That's right. No, so I don't know about experts. I mean, we've made other tokens on the team, so we've made some mistakes before and learned a lot, and definitely have used some of that learning to kind of protect ourselves. Right, we're coming in at the end of this first big wave of nodes, so there's a lot of lessons learned there in terms of what works and what doesn't. And we're just trying to build things to be as flexible as we can, so that if the rules do change, then again we can respond to that without having to, I don't know, make a whole release version 2 of our nodes and migrate everybody like you see all these other projects doing. And we want to make it as easy as possible and anticipate as many of those changes as we can.
Gotcha. Do you guys plan on refilling the rewards pool if the project takes off in an aggressive arc? And if so, how do you plan to do that?
How do we plan to do that? That's a good question. I mean, if the project really takes off, then anything is on the table as far as the team goes. Like there's I don't know. It's hard to say because again, there's not going to be the ability to mint anymore. So that is a good question. We might have to. I mean, it might have to result in some sort of, what is that, inflation or deflation? Deflation of the token, where basically it would just be worth, no, I guess inflation, it'd be worth more. I don't know. Sorry.
We'll be giving rewards back through the fees. Part of the fees that we take go back to the reward pool.
Right. Yeah.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
So hopefully that sustains. I mean, if we have a lot of nodes out there's a lot of rewards coming back. So.
Gotcha.
Makes sense.
So
and if our coin's a little too inflationary, this isn't our medium, but we have a kind of unique approach to bonding where we're going to take a portion of what we receive through bonding sales and buy the token on the market. So, if there's too many nodes out there and there's too many rewards and people are dumping them, we do have a built-in, plan in place for creating, positive buy pressure against that negative sell pressure.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you for that answer. That's reassuring. Know that hearing that you guys have a backup plan in place, for scenario A, B, C, it's very comforting. So that's really good to know. Little segue, Sauce, one of our silver NFT holders, is asking a question, which I will get to in just a second. But he is a silver NFT holder here at Node Nation. There will be a little more on that after the AMA, because I know we have a lot of members here visiting from DegenFi. We're really glad to have you here in our home here at Node Nation, and we're excited after this AMA to go over a little bit right here with our founder, Riddick, about what we have to offer at Node Nation. So just kind of a little shameless plug right there. Getting to Sauce's question, he wants to know, he says that being here in the AMA, all of his concerns are cleared up right away because of your guys' really great answers. But for those that aren't in the AMA, he has seen some concerns of, one, there's a lot of people on the whitelist, a little bit larger than other whitelist sizes that he's seen for other projects. And two, there's a lot of registered users in the DegenFi Discord, but a relatively low amount of engagement in relation to those numbers. So if there's any type of explanation to that or any comments to add, he just thinks that would be good to kind of help clear up some people that may be concerned about that.
Sauce was who introduced us first, wasn't it? Is Sauce the one that introduced us?
Yeah, I can't remember.
I think it was. So thank you to Sauce for pretty much setting this whole thing up.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was.
I just checked my messages. Yeah. But sorry, I just derailed that question there by.
Nice question. Yeah, that's good.
Oh, good. I'll take that. I think the thing that was tough for us is we did pivot from the Aurora chain to AVAX. And this has been a concern for us too, is we probably have a bunch of people in there that are, Aurora chain users that are not interested in our project anymore because it's not on their preferred chain. I know a lot of people are multi-chain these days, but I would say that was probably why early on. I think we've been getting a lot more engagement lately. It's picked up a lot, in the past couple of weeks. So we're excited. We think we have a solid community.
We only had about 150 of those people whitelisted from the Aurora project. It was just another reason we dropped out of Aurora. The hype just wasn't there. So we have built kind of from the ground back up on Avalanche here. So we're excited about the community we built.
Gotcha.
Sure.
Makes sense. And that's kind of a unique situation you guys are in with that, sort of mid-production chain pivot, right? Like that does a lot to sort of shock a community as far as people are interested or they're not interested. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
We've been on Avalanche before. We know it as a group, so we felt kind of like coming back home was the right move to make, and we think it's going to pay off.
Oh, beautiful. I agree. Avalanche is hot right now. I personally love Avalanche. I mean, Avalanche and Phantom for me are my two favorite chains. They are fast. They work really nice and quick. The gas fees are low, and it's just easy accessibility, right, for new users. I mean, you buy some Avalanche on Coinbase or wherever you're from, and then you're good to go. Whereas, like, you try to get on, the Harmony network or the Aurora network, which I'm not even familiar with. I'm sure that there's a couple other steps, which also helps to mitigate that hype that you were talking about. So it makes sense. I think you guys probably made the right call. So props to you.
Yeah, we admittedly thought the no gas on Aurora was going to be the thing, but I think we're glad we came back to Avalanche.
Yeah.
Feels like home.
Feels like home. There we go. Saint is asking what experience you guys as team members, and not just you, but the team as a whole, have with the DeFi space as far as working on other projects prior to DegenFi. If you have any background experience directly working with other protocols.
Well, they're not from Ring, so we're all good.
Yeah, nobody's French, right?
Oh no, we're not. Hey, Dev, do you want to take that one?
Sure. I don't know. I don't want to get too specific, I guess. But
Yeah, there's no need for that.
the group, I mentioned kind of how the group came together, right? And that happened. What is it, like 4 months ago at this point? 5 months ago, and we've definitely been through a few projects since then. Started with some simple like ERC20 tokens, and just playing around with simpler things, and then eventually moved on to some of the more complicated protocols. So I would say nodes are probably not the most complicated project that we've worked on as a team, if that helps. Again, without going into too much detail on exactly what we've done before.
We've definitely learned how to comprehensively plan a project. Do a lot better job on the tokenomics stuff. Some of that stuff we learned along the way. Just making sure we're prepared for all eventualities, like you guys talked about, and being a little more professional as far as docs, working with the community and our Twitter, things like that. I think we've really stepped it up for our last few projects. So yeah, it's been helpful for sure.
It's basically almost like a Cork situation, where you had a bunch of guys get together and build something cool from ground up. You know what I mean? That's kind of what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, I mean, what you rather do with people enjoy talking about it with.
Beautiful. I had a question here, Linda. Okay, so everybody gets asked this question, but it's important to ask. It's assumed that you guys have probably heard of the Union of Transparency. Do you intend to apply to be a partner?
I am not familiar with that. Could you give us a little
explanation? I've heard of it, but I don't know exactly what it means to join. So yeah, please.
Great. That's exciting. That actually gives me, wow. So the Union of Transparency is something started by, you're familiar with Thornodes, correct?
Yes.
So their head front man over there, Nylock, he is creating a group of some very experienced individuals that essentially will work to operate as I'm trying to find the right words to put it, as a more realistic and effective KYC for various DeFi projects, essentially where the team would dox to the Union of Transparency. And unlike with Assure, right, like you see Atom nodes, they rugged, and the Assure KYC doesn't really get involved or do much. The U of T would really be involved in ensuring that there is swift and active punishment to the people involved in those situations. So it really, really, really is just trying to build a web of serious professional protocols that all sort of aim with the same goal to bring some professionalism and transparency and remove the bad actors in the DeFi space. So being a part of the Union of Transparency is definitely going to be a big thing in the future. Right now, there's only 3 members. There is Hive, Thor, and Power Nodes. And I think they'll be coming out soon with an application process so new projects can apply and interview to be a part of the U of T.
Right. That's pretty much mainly too for, I think, like real bad actors as far as bad intentions, not for failing projects, but more or less like bad intentions of their intent,
malicious activity
and stuff like that. Yeah, not something that's a project that kicked ass, worked, and then got unsustainable and then slowly fell apart. That's different.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't penalize people for doing the best they can, and if a project doesn't make it, it doesn't make it. That happens. It's in the event of rugs, it's in the event of misinformation, intentional misinformation and just general malintent.
Right.
Is that something you guys would be interested in down the line as the U of T continues to grow and become an important factor in the space?
I mean, I'm definitely interested. Go ahead.
what happens if they were to get investigated by the government or SEC? I mean, we're interested, but is there any repercussion there? Or?
That is a question that would have to be brought up to the head of the U of T, who's actually, another shameless plug, a member of Node Nation. I can't answer that. Purveying the reach of the U.S. government is really out of my scope.
Right. So yeah, I will say that we agree with all of the principles that you mentioned of what the UOT is about. So again, protecting investors and transparency and whatever, justice for people who are rugged, that sort of thing. Yes to all of that, right? The implementation, those are the kind of details we got to talk about, right? There's a lot of talk about regulation. Everybody's spooked about that. But however we can participate and help, we're interested. Yes.
Gotcha.
I think the most important thing is not even the KYC. It's third party multi-sig. You know what I mean?
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I think that's
with like time locks. And,
yep.
Yeah.
Well, like third party, like someone that's not directly associated in that project.
Yeah.
But right. And
that's
and,
okay.
and a lot of projects have been doing that. We actually had one. Who was that? Mascot. Was that
Nautilus?
Nautilus. Actually, they just are multi-sigged with one of our head members here, Eggsy, which is one of our whales here. We got some whales in here, and
as every good project should.
Right. And no nation loves to whale into stuff, but that seems to be the way to go nowadays, more than KYC and putting your name out there and all that other crazy stuff. But because then it's guaranteed where you just can't take the money and run like a rug.
Yeah.
So that to me is more important than KYC. That's just my opinion.
I agree. All right, I got two more questions in the AMA channel, and then we'll see if people want to come up for a question or two, and we'll kind of assess the time situation. Two really good questions here. Angrist, a Silver Node Nation member, asked, what's your plan to prevent dumping at the 30-day mark when the 1.6 multiplier kicks in?
It's kind of some of the things that we've already talked about. I think we have some good ideas as far as, through our sell tax. We have a max sell limit. So if you are a whale, there's only a certain amount you can sell every day. We have positive buys coming in from the bonding system. Those are just a couple ways that I think will kind of help combat that. But, it's always a concern. It's something we're going to watch really closely, especially early on. So if there is an issue, hopefully we can address it quickly with a solution that works for everyone. But yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye on that.
Gotcha. And then Cosmic Alchemy asks, recently some devs have rugged some founders. Are you using an external dev? And if so, how are you protecting the project from bad actors other than multisig?
We are not using any external devs. So
beautiful. That's I asked that even though hopefully people have been here the whole AMA, but sometimes people come in halfway. That's super important because that happened to a project called Bigger Minds just recently, where a dev was contracted and worked with the team for like 3 or 4 months, and then backdoor rugged the whole project. So I know that that's kind of on the minds of a lot of people lately, of not just the founders rugging, but bad actors within their team that even the founders are a little unaware of. All right, guys, if you want to raise your hand and come on up stage and ask a question or two. We have Degenerate Explicit. Go ahead, and I invited you up. You want to come up and ask your question? You should see a little come up to stage button on that bottom panel.
It took me a minute to find that, I'll be honest.
What's going on, man?
What's going on?
Can everybody hear him okay? I can hear him.
Yeah. How you doing?
Yep.
All right, man. Shoot your shot.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can all hear
Yeah,
you.
we can.
I'm on the team.
Oh,
Oh, it's you. Okay.
do you have a question? All right.
I got a lot of questions.
He's like, I don't know where I'm at. All right, Johan Foos, go ahead and come on up and ask your question. Degenerate, we're glad to have you here, man.
Hey guys,
Happy to be
two
here.
questions. One is how much do you plan to raise during the pre-sale? And then the second question to that is, do you think the limits are too high, allowing people to, pretty much, at the beginning could just buy their whole, stack out? With if a lot of people did that, it'd probably put a lot of sell pressure.
Well,
Yes,
the
sir.
NFTs kind of protect that from the sell pressure at first, but I'll let the dev weigh in.
Trying to think if there's another answer besides the other kind of anti-dump mechanisms we were talking about. It's right. Number one is that we're not selling the token during the pre-sale, so there won't be that immediate dump when when it goes on sale to the public. And anything else?
Because there's limits too to what you can buy.
And I think those limits should be effective in preventing people from having too much right out the gate.
How much are you planning on raising during pre-sale?
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
What are you targeting for 8, 9, or 10 launch price? But what are you targeting for pre-sales?
It's hard to say until we actually launch. I truly don't know.
Yeah, that's been a big question, right? And it's something that there's probably going to be a period between like once the pre-sale starts and we figure out how much is raised, and then we have to calculate like what's the launch price of the token going to be, because that's been another question we're getting a lot, is what the launch price will be, and without knowing how much we've got for liquidity, basically it's hard to tell.
Yeah, and that's something we've talked about quite a bit is we want to have high liquidity off the bat. So hopefully we can raise enough to make sure that anyone who wants to buy can buy without, with minimal slippage.
Which will be locked, by the way. Liquidity will be locked.
For a year, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So what's the minimum you guys are hoping that at least, sells?
I don't know. I wish we could answer that. I don't. We'll have to see.
Is there anything like if it's if you don't have a lot, will you try to do something else before launch to try to build that liquidity? Like let's say if something I don't know, you only get like $25,000 worth of buys, obviously that's probably not enough to start up. Or maybe it is, I don't know. But obviously, you would have a token price with that. It'd be a lot of swings. I mean, would you do something in the interim before launch to try to raise more capital?
Yeah, we'll definitely take a look at that. If something like that happens, we do have a portion of. I believe we have one of the taxes. I'll have to correct me for not knowing that on hand, but I think a portion of our taxes goes to the liquidity pool, so that will help build it kind of over time. But yeah, that's definitely a concern if it's not a ton early. We'll check on that and let kind of reach out and let you guys know.
Yeah, I think right. We would probably want to press on unless it was super low, right? But based on the engagement that we're getting, we think we're going to be okay there. But say if we needed to add liquidity very quickly, the way that the tokenomics of the nodes are set up, we should be having we should be having both sides of the liquidity pair coming into the treasury, so that if we need to create liquidity in a pinch, we don't need to sell a bunch of tokens to do so. So we think that'll help protect us too if things get a little unstable.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to the project, and I'm just glad you guys aren't French devs.
Yeah, thank you for the questions.
I'll be back to the audience now.
What do you mean? Bonjour. What's wrong with French devs? Alrighty, we're gonna go ahead and bring up DHC, NJ, and Phenomenal, and then we'll call it there for on-stage questions. We'll start with NJ. Go ahead and ask your question.
Hey, what's up, guys? Can everyone hear me?
Yes, sir.
Sweet, amazing. I love this AMA. I love what you guys are talking about. I've been watching it for a while, so we're super pumped for this. My only question is something that they have brought up in the chats. I understand now, while you guys, you have to protect your privacy because the government is, up everyone's ass. I get that. But would somebody consider KYCing with a member of No Nation? I'm not a whale, I'm a dolphin, but I would totally, I want to ape in tomorrow. I can't wait. I would like that one little thing, which is a responsible member of No Nation has a KYC from somebody in the DegenFi. I think that's the only thing I'm looking for. Your liquidity lock is amazing. I'm sold. I'm sold on the project. I'm sold you've done a great tokenomics. I read your white paper twice. I love everything where you are. But that's just the one little thing I think I need. Ever since Adam, fucked me. That's where my head's at.
We certainly have not discussed it yet, so it's hard to put us on the spot there, not even knowing if No Nation does that, to be fair.
Yeah,
But we'll definitely get the team together and see if anyone's interested in doing that. I think it would. I would obviously probably help ease a lot of fears. So it makes sense why you'd ask.
Yeah, great question. All right, DHC, you there?
How you doing, guys? You alright?
Doing well.
Yeah. Hello.
To be honest, I've only got really just one question. Is like, how are so many people getting whitelist so easy? Like, I was seeing screenshots of, people getting DM for whitelist, and all they done was like 1 or 2 retweets.
Yeah, well, we've been doing a bunch of giveaways and on Twitter, so we've been DMing people asking for their Discord name to get on. We've actually been posting in the tweets. That's how we'll get in touch. So we have seen the questions about the whitelist. We have, I think, close to 8,500 people in the Discord. So we do have a whitelist cap we're going to keep it at. Right now, I think it's at about 6 or 7%. And keep in mind, some of the people are from the previous Aurora group that are no longer with us, and not a lot of people have given their whitelist address yet, which is also a good time to remind you, if you are whitelisted, to leave your address in the channel so we can get the information collected. But if you think the number's high, I understand it. But again, the percentages are low, and we will cap it at a certain number. And this is the direction we're going. We think it's fair, and we expect a good public launch as well as the pre-sale.
Right, okay, no problem. One more question, seeing as you mentioned Aurora. So the KYC you did, you did it when you was planning to launch on the Aurora network, right?
That's correct.
Right.
So does that same KYC apply now that you're on the Avalanche network?
Yeah, it's the same thing. I mean, it's a doxed dev to Aurora swap. So if we were to run off with the money, go ahead and go find the Aurora swap team and contact them, and you have your guy, Degen developer.
Fine, no
We don't
problem.
really get to
The
that
team runs
point.
off with the money and leaves me. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, and I know we mentioned this before, but again, if people weren't here for the entire thing, just to keep in mind, KYC is not the end all of protection for your investment, right? A lot of the recent things that happened were with KYC groups. So, it's a tough question right now, but we're trying to do what we can to make everyone feel safe and be safe.
Yeah.
But I guess when you put it into comparison of like networks, it really doesn't make a difference. Technically.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. I just wanted to know, just a bit unsure on that. So, thanks for clearing that up. That said, I don't really have any more questions.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for coming up and asking. I'm going to go ahead and move you back down to the audience. All right, guys, we're coming up just over the hill of that 50-minute mark. So I think we're going to probably call it there as far as for questions tonight. Any closing remarks from the DegenFi team?
No, I think this was a lot of fun. I'm impressed by the community and the depth of the questions that you guys are asking. It's keeping us on our toes. It's good. But it makes me feel good that we've got answers to them too. So I feel like we're ready
That's
for
a good
this.
sign.
Yeah.
Oh,
We got a lot of
here's
good questions tonight.
We'll take this guy's last question. I invited him up 5 minutes ago, and he must have been away from his computer. A surprise question. What's going on, Phenomenal? Yeah.
All right. Thank you for letting me on. But I just want to know if the code for this project was developed from scratch. If not, are you able to tell us if they were borrowed from other projects or not?
Code is being developed from scratch. Yeah, it's definitely, there's a lot of inspiration taken from other recent projects, but none of the code was copied and pasted.
Cool. That's all I want to know. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And that'll all be verified on launch as well.
Beautiful. Good question. Phenomenal. All right, guys. Well, on behalf of us here at Node Nation, we always appreciate you guys taking the time, coming over from your Discord and your team and taking your valuable time, pre-launch that could be spent moderating, developing, and marketing to come here and hang out with us and help answer questions for people in our community and your community, and really just sort of build a stronger group across the whole DeFi space. So a strong thank you from myself and the Node Nation team. And we we look forward to continuing to build our relationship with the DegenFi community. You guys seem like really, really solid guys. It's amazing to see a team with a heavy base in North America. That's incredibly rare from my own personal experience with the projects that we've had, not just here at Node Nation, but that I've worked with as a whole in my experience moderating. So really, you guys got something special. I also recommend that if you're here from DegenFi, that you stick around for just 2 or 3 more minutes. Our founder here at Node Nation, Riddick, is going to go over some of what we offer here on a daily basis now and in the future at Node Nation, and why you should continue to be a member of Node Nation and be a part and be active in our community. So, Riddick, if you want to just go ahead and take the reins.
Yeah, no, I got a huge shout out to the team here at DegenFi. I mean, that DegenFi, that takes a lot to get up here and answer questions. And, these kind of projects are like a huge learning curve. I mean, even for the people developing them, so a lot of us have to take that in consideration. It takes even the members and the investors to be part of the team and to make it successful as well, so it's pretty cool what you guys are doing, man. I like it. I really do. So you guys should be proud, man. It takes a lot to do that.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And thanks for having us.
Yeah,
thank you.
We connected.
For sure, man.
God bless him.
Brought some hype.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely, my man.
But yeah, we'll stick around.
No, man, it was glad to have you here. Node Nation, basically, we just kind of put this together on a whim from when a bunch of guys in power, and I've been in a lot of projects. I mean, I got in crypto pretty early, but my main thing was, I got in strong a little over a year ago. Got in. It was like around $40 or so, something like that. But built up a crap load of wallets just from that. But my main thing from my investing was, just getting in crypto early as a whole. That's key, as you guys all know. But we kind of just started this Discord to research projects, find the best ones to invest in, really do our homework, and to also help keep investors safe, with all the rugs that were going on. So, I mean, we pretty much formed right when Ring rugged. I didn't get rugged from that. I'm pretty much rug proof right now, other than a few nodes from Synth, but we all know what happened to that guy. But no, basically, we just came out with some NFTs for memberships. One is gold and silver. They both kind of sold out. The perks from those were just white lists, and gold has a treasury to where that gets invested into numerous projects and then gets split equally among the gold holders. And the bronze is basically just to be a member in the Degen channel. Watch our flips. I mean, we have crazy days and times where we do 10x plus, flips on stuff like that. But that's pretty much how we all started. So
Beautiful. And will there be an auction for the bronze NFTs as well?
no, bronze is just normal membership. That was set at $300. The only thing that got auctioned was the silver and gold, which all sold out really fast. So
excellent.
All, depending on treasury and stuff like that, there could be more in the future. And we currently have a couple projects. So, but our main goal here at Nation is to do one pack for every do lots of developers. So like a bunch of project developers from almost every project that we could get in here, which is cool. So we even got added as bonuses to some of the games, which is really cool. So on Project Europa will be a NFT booster in there, No Nation special helmet NFT booster. So yeah, it's been going crazy, man. But there's a lot of good plays in here. But like I said, the main thing is to keep everyone safe and find the best projects to invest in, and one happy home for all projects to help each other. So it's pretty cool.
Beautiful. Well said. Alrighty, gang. Well, I think that's probably where we're going to call it for the evening. So we appreciate y'all. We appreciate the DegenFi team. We appreciate all of the people that came over there to join us tonight in Node Nation. We hope you stick around, and we will definitely
Thanks for coming, guys.
be collaborating
awesome.
in the future. Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us. Come hang in our Discord. We'll be checking in with you guys and keep the party going.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'm bullish on Degen, guys. Let's go. Let's
Yes,
do
sir.
it.
Thanks, guys.
I think we'll have another AMA in the future.
My man, appreciate it. Thanks,
All right,
guys.
we'll talk to you.
Thanks for everybody coming. Later, guys.